Run! No, seriously, run! Because that tiny shrimp behind you just sent a crab the size of a pickup truck flying across the ocean floor. And now, it's looking at you. You don't ask questions. You run. Your legs move so fast. You're pretty sure you've invented underwater cardio. Pop! The water explodes beside you. Sand flies everywhere. You dive behind a rock. Or what used to be a rock. Now it's roughly the size of an apartment building. You squeeze your eyes shut. 1 second, 2, 3, silence. You slowly peek around the corner. Nothing. Okay, either I survived, or I'm already dead. Then something else hits you. You're breathing. Underwater. Without a diving mask. Without oxygen. Without dying. I'll deal with that later. 5 minutes earlier. You wake up face first in warm sand. Your head hurts. Your memory? Gone. You stand up and immediately realize something is very, very wrong. A seashell rolls past. It's the size of a minivan. A strand of seaweed sways overhead, like a giant palm tree. Then, thud. A footprint lands beside you. Not a human footprint. A crab footprint. It's bigger than your entire body. Excuse me? You look at your hands, your feet. Everything seems normal. Until a tiny fish swims past. And it's taller than you. Well, I have bad news. I'm either incredibly small, or fish have been lying on their resumes. Congratulations. Somehow, you've become the size of a crab, which means every crab, every shrimp, every lobster, and every strange creature crawling across the ocean floor just became your neighbor, or worse, your problem. And judging by that mysterious snapping sound echoing through the water, your first problem is already on its way. Pop. Please don't be another shrimp. Pop. There it is again. Not loud, not terrifying. Just strangely confident. You look left, nothing. You look right, nothing. Fantastic. The invisible thing has sound effects. Another pop. A pebble beside you jumps into the water. You immediately jump higher than the pebble. Nope. I'm not investigating mysterious noises anymore. You quietly tiptoe away. Crunch. A tiny shell cracks beneath your foot. The ocean suddenly becomes silent. Every fish disappears into the coral. Even the water somehow feels nervous. That's usually a bad sign. Something moves. Not a shark. Not a giant crab. A shrimp. Barely bigger than your hand. You stare at it. Then you laugh. That's it? I've been running from seafood garnish? The shrimp slowly turns towards you. One claw looks completely normal. The other looks ridiculously oversized. Like someone built half a shrimp, then accidentally attached construction equipment. Buddy, your proportions are illegal. The shrimp opens its giant claw. You fold your arms. Oh no. He's gonna pinch me. Pop! A pressure wave slams into your chest. You fly backward, bounce across the sand, and land upside down inside a patch of seaweed. For several seconds, you simply lie there. I think my ancestors felt that. That wasn't a pinch. The shrimp snapped its claw so unbelievably fast that it fired a jet of water through the ocean. The water moved so quickly, it created a cavitation bubble, and when that bubble collapsed, it released a shockwave powerful enough to stun fish, crack tiny shells, and launch one extremely confused human into aquatic landscaping. The shrimp casually reloads its claw, as if none of that was unusual. You know, I don't think shrimp means what I thought it meant. Then, it starts walking towards you, slowly, confidently, like it already knows the ending. You don't wait to find out. You turn around and run faster than you've ever run before. Behind you, pop! The shockwave misses you by inches, but something else notices the noise. A shadow passes overhead. Much bigger than the shrimp, much faster. The little shrimp instantly disappears into its burrow. You slowly look up. Please, tell me that's just a cloud. It isn't. A pair of enormous eyes is already watching you. The shadow slowly lands on a nearby rock. You don't move. It doesn't move. Please, have claws. Don't be another shrimp. The creature steps into the light. You sigh. Oh, come on. It's always a shrimp. This one looks different. Its body is covered in brilliant colors. Its eyes never stop moving. One eye watches you. The other scans the reef behind you. Great. It has security cameras. You slowly begin backing away. Very slowly. You've learned something today. If the ocean gives you options, choose running. The colorful shrimp doesn't chase you. Instead, it quietly folds two strange arms beneath its body, almost like it's praying. Aw, maybe this one's peaceful. The shrimp twitches. A nearby snail shell explodes. Pieces fly past your face. You freeze. I take it back. It was loading. This is the mantis shrimp. It doesn't snap water like the pistol shrimp. It punches. Its front arms work like tiny biological springs. They lock, store energy, then release it so quickly. The strike reaches speeds comparable to a bullet leaving a handgun. Fast enough to smash shells. Fast enough to crack aquarium glass. And unbelievably, the punch is so fast, it creates another cavitation bubble. So, even its punch gets a sequel. The mantis shrimp suddenly looks directly at you, both eyes. For the first time. That's not encouraging. It crouches. You crouch. It shuffles. You shuffle. For one incredibly awkward moment, you're both copying each other. Then, it attacks. You dive sideways. Boom! The punch slams into the rock where your head was a fraction of a second earlier. The rock cracks. The shrimp pauses. Just for a heartbeat. You remember the pistol shrimp. Every weapon has to reload. Finally, a boss with cooldowns. You sprint. Not because you're brave, because your survival strategy has officially become running away professionally. As you disappear into the coral forest, you can't help but laugh. This ocean has serious anger issues, but hidden inside the coral, someone has been watching your entire performance. And unlike the shrimps, this creature doesn't carry weapons. It carries its entire house. Or, you stumble into a quiet stretch of the reef. No explosions, no shockwaves, no shrimp with anger management issues. Finally, a normal day. A shell rolls across the sand. You ignore it. The shell stops. You stop. The shell starts walking again. No, I'm not falling for this. The shell changes direction. It is definitely walking. Two tiny eyes peek out, then two little claws. A hermit crab. It looks at you. You look at it. For the first time today. Neither of you seems interested in violence. I like this guy. The hermit crab slowly disappears into its shell. You wait. Nothing. 5 seconds. Still nothing. You gently tap the shell. No response. Outstanding. I've been ignored. Buy a house. Unlike other crabs, a hermit crab has a soft, vulnerable abdomen. So instead of growing heavy armor, it rents one. As it grows larger, it has to move into a bigger shell. But finding one isn't easy. Sometimes dozens of hermit crabs gather around a newly discovered shell. The biggest crab takes it first. The next biggest moves into the old shell. Then the next. Then the next. It's basically an underwater apartment chain. No arguments, no paperwork, no security deposit. Just very patient crabs waiting for the housing market to improve. As you're laughing, another tiny crab scurries across the sand. This one is waving two fluffy little pom-poms. Seriously? The ocean has cheerleaders now. The tiny crab proudly raises both claws. Except, those aren't pom-poms. They're living sea anemones, packed with microscopic stinging cells. This is the boxer crab. Instead of building weapons, it borrowed them. Whenever a predator gets too close, the boxer crab starts swinging. Tiny punch after tiny punch, each one backed by thousands of stinging cells. And if one anemone disappears, the crab simply tears the remaining one into two pieces. Both halves grow back, two gloves again. It just copied its own weapon. I can't even copy my homework that well. You slowly back away. At this point, you've stopped asking what evolution can't do, because every answer somehow gets weirder. Then, the ground begins to shake. Heavy, slow, deliberate. The hermit crab instantly disappears into its shell. The boxer crab vanishes into the coral. Even the fish scatter. You don't need to ask why. Whatever is coming is big enough to make everything else hide. You turn toward the dark shoreline. A gigantic silhouette steps out from beneath the trees. Please, don't tell me that's a crab. It is. And somehow, it's bigger than all the others. The giant silhouette slowly steps into the light. One leg, then another. Each step shakes the sand beneath your feet. Nope, that's not a crab. That's a construction project. The monster stops only a few meters away. Massive claws, armored body, legs thicker than tree branches. This is the coconut crab, the largest land-living arthropod on Earth. You stay perfectly still. Maybe it didn't see you. Maybe. The crab turns and looks directly at you. Well, it was a nice plan. Without warning, it grabs a coconut from the ground. One slow squeeze. Crack! The coconut explodes into pieces. You blink. Message received. Those claws can generate thousands of newtons of force. Powerful enough to crush coconuts. Strong enough to tear apart tough shells. And definitely strong enough to ruin your afternoon. You quietly begin backing away. 1 step, 2 steps. 3. Crunch. You step on another shell. I really need quieter feet. The coconut crab rushes forward. You sprint. Roots fly past. Leaves smack your face. You're not even trying to be brave anymore. You're just trying to remain mostly alive. Then, the chase suddenly stops. You look back. The giant crab has already lost interest. Instead, it calmly returns to searching for food. That's when something finally clicks. None of the creatures you met today were chasing you because you were human. They weren't villains. They weren't monsters. They were simply surviving. Exactly as evolution designed them to. The pistol shrimp trusted physics. The mantis shrimp trusted speed. The hermit crab trusted borrowed armor. The boxer crab trusted living weapons. The coconut crab trusted overwhelming strength. Different bodies, different strategies. One goal: stay alive. You look across the endless ocean one last time, a place that seemed peaceful until you became small enough to understand it. Suddenly, the water around you begins to shimmer. The world grows brighter. The giant crab becomes smaller. The reef shrinks. The shells become ordinary again. A moment later, you're standing on the beach. Human-sized, safe. You look down at your feet. A tiny hermit crab crawls across the sand carrying its shell. You smile. Then, you hear it. Pop. You freeze. Nope. Not today. You immediately turn around and walk away as fast as possible. Behind you, the ocean looks calm, quiet, almost harmless. But now you know better, because beneath every wave, there's an entire world where the smallest creatures can carry the biggest surprises. And honestly, you're perfectly happy, never becoming crab-sized again. The end.